Well, welcome to the Coach's Corner. Hi, I'm Frank Barbahan, and I'll be your discipleship coach for this week. Uh, Another method to equip our children, focusing more on the character side, is what I call cognitive behavioral rehearsal, which is the fancy name for practice. And actually, practice is commonsensical, and everybody knows it, but we rarely do it in our parenting. Practice is what we do for everything in life that we want to have some mastery with. We practice t-ball, for example, and when the coach puts the ball up on the tee and the coach shows the child how to swing the bat to hit the ball off that tee, when the child misses the ball, the coach doesn't time out the child and put him on the bench and say, when you decide to hit the ball right, then you can get up and come to the tee. We would consider that to be abusive coaching. You want the coach to train the child how to swing the bat in order to hit the ball off the tee. Nor do we want a coach yelling at the child saying, what's the matter with you that you're not hitting the ball off the tee? But in our parenting, we tend to scold the child when the child doesn't do what is acceptable to us, what's appropriate, what is moral. We tend to scold the child. We will time out the child. We will consequence the child, but we don't train the child in that social behavior or that moral behavior. So I'd offer for your consideration is actually practicing the behavior with the child. There are two parts to it. The first part is asking the child, all right, what did you do wrong in this situation? What did you do that was not wise in this situation? What did you do that was not healthy in this situation? What did you do that was not safe? Talking about safety last time. What did you do that was not safe in this situation? And have the child think it through and come up with an answer that they themselves articulate. To have them think that through and articulate it grants them wisdom and helps them internalize the wisdom of what they've done wrong. Then you go to, well, what do you need to be doing? What is wise in this situation? What is moral in this situation? What is loving in this situation? What is safe in this situation? And have them think it through with our help and then articulate what it is that is wise or moral in that situation. And having them say it in their own words helps them to internalize it. And then we practice what it is that we want them to be doing. That's practice. That's cognitive behavior rehearsal. That covers an incredible amount of territory in our parenting. So rather than scolding and time outing it, rather we train them. Well, I'll give you an example with my little Miss Leah. She's my granddaughter. She's 3 and she's a Spitfire. One might call her strong-willed or very stubborn. Well, one time she was under our coffee table, and our coffee table has some glass in it as part of the design of the table. And, it's a little risky. Talk about safety, a little risky to be under there. We wanted her to come out from the table. Well, Grammy actually wanted her to come out from under the table. And little Miss Leah refused to come out from under the table. Well, I'm sitting right there, so I decide to handle it. And I scoop Leah up off the floor from underneath the table. And I tell her to go sit on timeout, and then we're going to practice. She refused to go sit on timeout. So I went over to the stairs, which is where we have our timeout, and I sat on the stairs, and I had Miss Leah on my lap, and I held her on my lap, and I repeatedly asked her, are you ready to sit on the steps on your own? No. All right. Wait a little bit. Are you ready? Nope. Did this 3 times. Finally, the 4th time, she said, yes. So I had her sit on the step for a timeout. Then we practiced. All right. Leah, what did you do wrong here? Did you sit on the steps as Grampy told you to? No. And are you supposed to sit on the step for timeout? Yeah. All right. Now go sit on the step. And we had her practice. And believe it or not, we practiced like half a dozen times to sit on the step. And she gets into it. She smiles. She giggles. And she kind of puffs up with it, and she has some fun with it, and she sits on the step. We practiced that half a dozen times, Now we practice coming out from under the coffee table. When Grammy says to come out from under the coffee table, what are you supposed to do? And come. Okay. And we have her lay down on the floor, pretend to be under the coffee table. I pretend to be Grammy, call her, and she gets up from the floor out from under the coffee table. We practice that a half a dozen times. That's practice. That's cognitive behavioral rehearsal. I would offer for your consideration using practice rather than scolding and just the timeout. I use the timeout to have a child settle down, to get their attention, to do the practice. But the practice is what's going to grant them wisdom about what it is that they're doing unwisely or wrongly. And the practice is going to give them the actual feel for how to behave correctly, how to behave appropriately or morally or socially. You can tell a child how to hit the ball off the tee all you want. It gives them no feel for it unless they practice it. You can tell a child to come out from under the coffee table all you want, but it's practicing coming out from under the coffee table that's going to give them a feel for that. So I hope that makes sense. That's it. Have any questions, blog me or email me at frank@peakperformancediscipleship.com. See you next week.